Blue.
Yes, we do. Yeah, luckily I accidentally nailed it as far as the student section goes tonight, even though I'm not in it, or probably never will be.
And still no signal.
Nope, I guess we're not getting replays tonight. Oh, changed HDMI.
Well, I turned it back on
Oh.
because it was
Okay, whoops,
it was gonna cycle. Yeah, they haven't sent one through yet. And the HDMI cable's in, so.
Tonight is the St. Croix Athletic Association Youth Football Night. Standing on the field are some of the 681 VAA football players in kindergarten through 8th grade. Thank you for playing football in the St. Croix Valley, and good luck this season. Fans, at this time, we ask that you please stand. Gentlemen, remove your hats. Military members may render a salute and sing along. As Stillwater Senior,
Do you know when we're starting?
No.
sings our
I haven't heard from Anders.
Solnoski Stadium. Live coverage on Valley Access channels, the Stillwater Ponies and the East Ridge Raptors. Both teams looking to get above 500, which they will do with the win this evening. I'm Mike Pete and he's Don Ackerman. Don, Stillwater will kick off. They won the toss and deferred. We'll get names and numbers and set the scene for you as we move along. Stillwater sends the kick. It is fielded by number 11, Jesse Borrego, and he'll let it roll out of bounds. So Eastridge will start the first series at the 35-yard line.
Nice consciousness there to sit there and keep an eye on that. Wait for it to go out of bounds.
So coming into this game, Don, we suspect that the team that establishes the passing game first will have the advantage. Eastridge averaging over 200 yards through the air. Last week, their quarterback, Tanner Zolnoski, threw for 225 yards, 3 touchdowns. Eastridge, however, coming up just short, losing 35-29 to Forest Lake.
Yeah, and I think we want to see how that young quarterback for Stillwater does to try to keep up with that throwing game.
That quarterback is Nick Kinsey, but he can't take the field yet.
Not yet.
So Eastridge will get 1st and 10 at the 35 for their first series. Stillwater won this meeting a year ago. It has been back and forth between these two, trading blows over the years. Of course, last year you had Max Chikonjansky running the offense. Eastridge will start with a screen pass on 1st down. Isaac Walker, the intended receiver, but the pass falls incomplete. Eastridge has plenty of targets on the air. Deontay Flamino, Charlie Byrne, and Kyle Friend. Kyle had an interesting week 1 to week 2 split. Week 1, 3 catches, -2 yards. He did get a receiving touchdown, though. Last week, 6 catches, 82 yards, and a touchdown.
So I guess we'll see more of that trend today.
We see 3 receivers to the left on 2nd and 10. Zolnoski goes up the middle, and another drop pass. That was the aforementioned Kyle Friend, and Don. The passing game for Eastridge a little sluggish to start this game.
Yeah, Friend looked upfield on that incompletion. Took his eye off the ball and got ahead of himself and got nowhere.
How many times have you heard this saying in football? Receivers looking upfield before they complete the catch, and what could have been a 1st down is instead 3rd down. 3rd and 10 from the 35. Zolnoski in the shotgun. Single back, 3-step drop for Zolnoski. Plenty of protection. Finds a wide open receiver in number 2, Flamino, and he will take it all the way for the touchdown. Flamino's first touchdown reception of the season, and Eastridge gets on the board in a hurry.
Yeah, 65-yard touchdown catch. Wide open, no one in sight of him. He just caught and run, and you were talking about Zielinski had plenty of time to sit back in the pocket and wait for that to develop. That's a surprise, I think, after 2 incompletions.
And a great recovery after 2 drop passes. A screen that got away, and then what could have been a sure thing, doinking in the extra point was Friend. And with 11:40 left in the first quarter, Eastridge up 7-0. That drive, 3 plays, 20 seconds, 65 yards. Of course, when all 65 come on 1 throw,
right, after 2
that speeds up the math.
Yeah, the clock only ran during a kickoff, which actually went out of bounds, and then that play.
So Deontay Flamino, the most frequent target for Tanner Zolnoski. He had 7 catches and 60 yards in week 1, 4 catches, 67 yards in week 2. Week 1 was a 40-21 win over Park of Cottage Grove, but no receiving touchdowns until that play just a moment ago.
65 yards and 1 play.
And as we get ready for the Eastridge kickoff, a reminder that this broadcast is brought to you in part by Papa John's of Stillwater.
I was going to say, right now Eastridge has delivered the way Papa John's will. They'll bring it right to the house, and they'll do it fast.
Eastridge gave Forest Lake a run, and it was back and forth, but a fumble return for a touchdown by Forest Lake late in the third quarter. That was the turning point as Forest Lake put up a big second half. This kickoff will go into the end zone, and Stillwater will start at the 20.
So that out of bounds ended up, I don't know if it really made a difference. I guess they could have thrown a 65 or a 75-yard bomb either way, or 85 or 95 yards. As wide open as Flamino was, could have been from everywhere. Now Stillwater's going to have to put it together and compete with East Ridge, who looks like they might have found something.
Nick Kinsey is the quarterback. Now Stillwater does have a couple of options in Sam Young and Emilio Rosario Matias in the running game. We'll see how often they go that route. Well, they'll go to the running game on first down. This is Sam Young as he breaks a couple of tackles and picks up a solid gain, a 6-yard run to make it 2nd and 4.
Yeah, nice little weaving run by Young, weaving between defenders as he found his way and moved up, picking up about half of what they need to keep the chains moving.
And data from last week not available, so a little tougher to give you Stillwater's numbers, but we have a player in motion. That was Ephraim Lands. And it's a first down throw to number 3, Tanner Schmidt. That was one of the popular receiving targets last season, and Schmidt picking up a first down on this play with a gain of 8.
Little mix here of run and pass.
And you and I were here for week 1. We said Kinsey's development and his camaraderie, how he meshes that, molds that, that's going to be key throughout the season as Young gets the carry on first down, breaks another tackle, cuts right, and runs out of bounds a couple yards shy of the 40.
Nice run.
Let's see where they spot it. Not as good of a spot as I thought he would get. They put him at the 37, so a 3-yard gain, 2nd and 7.
He must have went out of bounds.
It looked that way. I just couldn't tell with the sea of humanity on the far sideline.
Exactly where.
And we don't have pylon cams yet. Kinsey, quick throw. Incomplete. On the coverage, Hudson Grainer, number 7, and 3rd down coming up for the Ponies.
Yeah, and I think you can hear some fans wondering if that was a little early. It looked like it was to me, but I don't have a flag, so it doesn't matter.
That was a quick slant, and now 3rd and 7. Stillwater trying to answer after Eastridge scored on the opening drive. Kinsey in the shotgun. 4 receivers. Goes left, and the pass nearly picked off. It falls incomplete. Schmidt, the intended receiver. Jalen Crowley on the coverage, and Stillwater's drive will stall there.
You know, if he threaded the needle there, that would have been a good play, but he went through it between 2 defenders. Luckily, he was accurate, but Schmidt unable to get to that ball. So Stillwater also has 2 incompletes on their drive. So I guess they're at that point they're matching up evenly.
Flamino and Jesse Borrego lining up to receive the punt. The punter lands. It's a short one. And signaling for the fair catches, Flamino. Eastridge will start their next series at the 31-yard line. And you were talking about the touchdown, Don, on their last drive. I think the biggest thing that led to the 65-yard throw, all to protection that Zolnowski had.
Oh my gosh, yes. He spent a lot of time in the pocket looking around, got to find his receiver. We'll be keeping an eye on that. One thing I gotta say is I do like the student section doing the whiteout, matching the all white of Eastridge. That's tonight's color commentary from Don Ecker.
Zolnowski in the shotgun on 1st and 10. 3-step drop. Gets rid of it quickly. The throw is caught out of bounds. Charlie Byrne had it but could not get a foot in. We play with the college rules effectively, so you just need 1 foot. Unfortunately, Byrne couldn't haul in the catch, and it will be 2nd and 10.
It looked like Byrne tapped it to himself, like he got his hands on it at first. It popped up in the air. The time in between those two, he could not get 1 foot in bounds.
Shotgun again. Zolnowski, plenty of protection. This time overthrows Byrne. And here we are again, Don. 3rd and 10. Last time Eastridge faced a 3rd and 10. They took it 65 yards to the house. We'll see if they can replicate that or at the very least extend the drive.
Yeah, and so far you're really, like you said, Eastridge is pass happy, and they are looking like they are filling that role well, just trying to connect.
They only had 28 yards rushing last week against Forest Lake.
Wow.
So if they're going to get it done, it's likely going to come through the air. Eastridge calling an audible here on 3rd and 10. There is a play clock, but not on the field, of course, so the quarterbacks have to keep time. Zolnowski flushed out now, and he has nowhere to go, has to get rid of it. Stillwater getting to him and forcing a 3 and out. The closest player was number 29, Samuel Fredericks, and not a sack, but it forces 4th down, and Stillwater will take that result.
Yeah, I thought he was overthrowing Borrego, number 11. But like you said, that was just a scramble, just trying to get out of there. And Stillwater defense is able to hold this time. And it took 20 seconds off the clock, that drive did.
This could be a longer game with all the passing plays. Well, Eastridge, 6 plays, all passes, but only 1 completion as that punt goes out of bounds.
About the 23.
That's interesting, Don. Eastridge just 1 of 6, or Zolnowski is.
Yep.
But that 1 completion went for 65 yards and a touchdown.
Right. Yeah, and what's interesting is both of their drives were 20 seconds long.
They keep this up, I'm going to run out of room on my drive chart.
Yes, you are.
I brought a couple of pages, but we'll see. It is 1st and 10 at the 23. Stillwater did pick up a 1st down in our last series before stalling out. They had a couple of hurried throws, though. Kinsey goes for the short slant, and another dropped pass. Don, everybody is having a hard time hanging on to the ball.
Hildy with the drop. Oh, Butterfingers chant.
Oh, no. And from up here, we can't see a replay right now, but from our vantage point, Don, it looked like he hit Hildy right at the numbers, and he just couldn't hang on to it.
Correct.
So 2nd and 10, following the incompletion. Delayed handoff. That's Rosario Matias, and he'll get a good chunk of yardage there before running out of bounds. Like I said before, Don, I'm curious to see how much Stillwater mixes in those running backs of Young and Rosario Matias. We saw them do some nice things, and Rosario Matias picking up a nice 9 yards there.
Yeah, we saw a burst from him in game 1, and I think it looks like it's a good idea to give him some touches again, especially after that delayed handoff, which looked like it was starting off not well.
3rd and 1, following the 9-yard gain. Kinsey will throw, pass high, but caught by Hoheisel, and Stillwater will move the chains.
Great job by Hoheisel to pull that in. Just needed a short little gain there for the 1st down. And they move the chains to the 38-yard line.
Gain of 6. Player in motion. And a quick screen. This time making the catch is Brett Hildy, and he will gain 3 yards on that route to make it 2nd and 7. Stillwater beat Woodbury last week 28-25. They got rounded by Lakeville North 35-14 in week 1. But that was the first game of Nick Kinsey's career, and we're going to have a false start penalty movement at the line involving the left end, number 78, Jeffrey Akuba.
Gonna go back 5 yards.
That turns a 2nd and 7 into a 2nd and 12. Not the direction you want to see. Let's see what Stillwater draws up now. Another quick throw and a good open field tackle by Eastridge. Number 5, Caden Stern. Hoheisel made the catch, but he only picked up 4. So it will be 3rd and 8 at the 40.
Well, you're going to have to convert these third downs, especially if you're going to have a pass-happy team trying to throw the ball on you.
Hildy in motion on 3rd down. Now Kinsey in trouble. Rolls to his right. Looking for Hildy. Incomplete.
Looks like it went right, really close to through the hands on number 18. That'll make it 4th and 8.
And this will likely send out the punting unit, and it does. So a couple of times on that series, a throw to Hildy fell incomplete. One drop and another that was a little high, but catchable. Weather really not a factor in this game, but you know this, Don. Sometimes you can be on top of the world. Other games, nothing seems to go your way.
All right, so I'm hearing, Don, we can't hear you on the mic, man. Got that feedback on the YouTube channel.
We nearly had.
We're going to say, I think they're saying, no,
Stillwater ball. Borrego couldn't handle it. And I believe Grayson Zern fell on it, so Stillwater gets their first big play on a fumble recovery after the punt. Remember, Don, last week it was a fumble return for a touchdown that turned the tide against Forest Lake. Stillwater, they'll start their next series inside the red zone thanks to that fumble recovery.
That's huge.
By Grayson Zern.
That's exactly what Stillwater needed to get him a boost on this in this game that hasn't connected for them yet.
Effectively a new drive for the Ponies at the 17, and Kinsey wants it all right here. Touchdown! Tanner Schmidt with the 17-yard catch, and Stillwater can tie it up on the extra point.
Stillwater has a one-play scoring drive of their own to equalize as far as touchdowns go. We'll see if the score is even in a moment. Really great play. You love it when they go for the throw when you get an opportunity.
Extra point from Landon Huber is through. 7-all, 6:55 left in the first quarter. And Don, you're talking about going for the throat. That's something I remember John Madden would talk about. Super Bowl 31, guys like Brett Favre or teams that have a strong passing game. No sense fooling around trying to run up the middle and get maybe 2-3 yards. Take the shot. See if it works out. It did for Schmidt.
Right, boom, right, is what he might say. You gotta hit them hard when you get a chance, type of thing. I cannot do a John Madden impersonation, so I wanted to try. I guess if my mic isn't working, that's great news for those.
We also knew, you know what, maybe this will be a plea to have a telestrator added to the broadcast, so you could channel your inner John Madden.
I can be seen, not heard. We might want
We're trying to sort out some technical mishaps here.
Yeah, I might have to go down and talk to Anders. Maybe you can try
We don't have access to our monitor either, so we can't describe any replays, at least at the moment. But we'll do our best. Well, we can on the YouTube channel. Right now, Eastridge on the kick return. YouTube channel is a few seconds behind.
Yes.
We'll make this work.
Yeah, I guess we could call it a distant replay.
The distant
replay. Have a play
the
on
distant
words.
replay. Well, Eastridge will start. That last drive for Stillwater, by the way, 1 play, 6 seconds, 17 yards. Eastridge will start this drive at the 21. And a big sequence here.
Okay, I've maxed my volume, so hopefully that works. I think, Mike, can you hear me a little bit better now?
I can hear you much better.
Okay, I turned it all the way to the max.
Eastridge will try to do the same on first down. They
Nice.
go with a quick throw up the middle, and we'll pick up a few yards on the play to Flamino.
Yep, so if now my sound is working, I can say now you've got a complete broadcast set. Why don't you complete your game at home by getting yourself some Papa John's pizza from Papa John's Stillwater.
2nd and 4, and sounds like a good plan.
It really does. I'm hungry.
Eastridge going to the ground for the first time in this game. A run up the middle to the 30, a gain of 3 yards. That was number 6, Isaac Walker. Again, Eastridge, they do not go to the ground often, and they're going to play no huddle right here. Zolnowski lining up under center. This could be a keeper. Oh, the snap was botched, and Zolnowski is swallowed up.
Defense totally came after him there.
And it looked like the exchange was not a clean one.
Correct.
They were setting up for those keepers that we're so accustomed to seeing out of Josh Allen and so many other quarterbacks in the NFL. But you got to make sure the exchange from the center to the QB is clean, or that will happen.
Yeah, so instead of a 3rd and short, it ends up becoming 4th and long.
Long enough to punt. A 3 and out for Eastridge, and this is after
That turnover.
after a fumble, right. Fumble on the muff punt. Calling for the fair catch is Stillwater, and they will start their next series at the 32-33 yard line. That was number 23, Riley Runk. Don, right now, Stillwater, they've got momentum on their side. Here's a chance to capitalize on it.
Yeah, I mean, the real turnaround in play, right? Stillwater has had a one-play scoring drive. Eastridge has had a one-play scoring drive. Now someone needs to put something else together and break the tie in this game. Defense did a good job holding Stillwater, Eastridge, who tried to mix it up by throwing in some runs for the first time. I guess we could technically call that quarterback play a run when he was sacked.
Kinsey in the shotgun. Pump fakes, out goes deep, and it looks like he'll overthrow his target. He wanted to go to Hoheisel, but let go a little too early. I think needed another second to allow that route to develop.
Yeah, it looked like Hoheisel had a burst of speed, but then when he caught up with the defender, the ball was already gone. Nice play, though, because the execution there was pretty much spot on.
5:02 left in the first quarter. Split receivers. Young on the carry, had a hole up the middle, and he'll get a good chunk there to the 38-yard line, a gain of 5. That will make it a more manageable 3rd down. And remember, Don, last week in the case of Eastridge, they were up on Forest Lake 21-7 at the half. A big 3rd quarter, including that fumble return for a touchdown, change the narrative, change the tide. And Eastridge, it looked like they were on a roll early. That muff punt could produce a similar effect as we have 3rd and 5 here. They'll go to the ground again. Another big hole. Young is grabbed from behind, tackled by number 33, Kale Wieselman, but Young able to pick up the first down anyway.
Really nice burst of speed, and he would have been gone further if the Eastridge defender wasn't able to snag that jersey.
Stillwater going no huddle, trying to catch Eastridge off guard, and Young able to get another solid chunk. Doesn't look like there were too many men on the field for Eastridge. I was thinking Stillwater was in a hurry to snap it to try to get a free play out of it.
It seems like that quick action paid off, though, as Young had a really nice burst, making it 2nd and 6?
2nd and 5.
5.
So Young has had gains of 5, 9, and 5 yards in his last 3 carries. He'll get another handoff here. This time has to go to the right as there's no blocking up the middle and no blocking at all. He's tackled for a loss of 2.
Yeah, Young ran 10 yards, but they were perpendicular or parallel to the first down line.
Eastridge on top of that one, and with 3rd and 7 down, I'm guessing we'll see a passing play here.
Yep, Young comes out of the game, and one of his teammates is going to get his jersey back over the pads.
Rosario Matias, though, is going in, and he broke out for a couple of nice runs in that Lakeville North game. But I suspect Kinsey will go to the air here. Now calling an audible on 3rd and 7. 2:40 left in the first. Kinsey had that pass deflected and incomplete. Hildy, the intended receiver, but Eastridge's defensive line got just enough of it.
Stillwater, a nice little drive going. Not any pressure. On Kinsey, he was able to run the play that he wanted. Just the defense was able to tip the ball and wasn't able to get to Hildy.
Stillwater will punt again. Last time, a muff punt led to a fumble recovery. Grant Miley back to receive this one. A low snap. They get it off. Eastridge, they're not going to go anywhere near that ball, and Stillwater will down it near the 20.
Last drive took about 3 minutes off the clock, just under that. Got 2 minutes left in this quarter. Eastridge probably glad to let that one go. Don't give any more chances to Stillwater.
Their last couple of drives have been 3 and outs. Zolnowski finds Frent on the quick slant. And Frank gets it to the 27-yard line for a gain of 6.
That ball went right through one of the Stillwater defenders. I think it was, I missed his number.
Eastridge huddling up here. With less than 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. A quarter that has seen its share of dramatic turns already. Zolnowski goes up the middle, and the ball, was it knocked out again? No, it was held on to by Jesse Borrego.
And Borrego went right into the teeth of the defense with that slant, but they picked up their yards. We have a 3rd and short.
Borrego, that's just his 3rd catch of the season. He had 2 catches for 41 yards. Not called upon often, but picked up a couple there, making it a 3rd and 1. And Eastridge in the shotgun, but again, they do not have a consistent running game. Zolnowski, plenty of time, going deep, and the pass incomplete, intended for Flamino. On the coverage, Riley Runk.
Looks like it was a pretty close. It was just one of those things where if Flamino could track it down, catch it over the shoulder, that would be a deep drive completion.
I'm a little surprised they went that route on 3rd and 1, unless they plan to go for it here.
Well, they've got the...
They're lining up.
They're lining up like they are, which is interesting. Oh, they're bringing everybody in.
It's going to be a keeper up the middle. Stillwater says that he didn't cross.
I think that's going to be short.
Let's see what they spotted.
Looks like a quarterback keeper over the right side, but he was not able to get a good burst as the Stillwater line held strong.
No gain on the play, so a turnover on downs. And it's hard to tell, Don, from this vantage point what transpired, but Stillwater's defensive line won the battle there.
Yeah, it looked like Stillwater's line just burst through. All the players were clutching and grabbing.
So Stillwater takes over with a short field at the 30, 47.9 on the clock.
Yeah, and Zielinski was able to get through, but went to the right, wasn't able to move forward. First down, Stillwater.
Standard I. And Rosario Matias gets the carry, following his blockers, going up seams, and picking up a first down at the 16, a gain of 14 yards for the sophomore.
Rosario showing some very strong running skills. We have a stoppage of play here. Timeout by Eastridge. Stillwater looking to move quickly and take advantage of the positive action that Rosario has created.
"30 seconds left. Enough time to tell you that this broadcast is made possible by support from Papa John's in Stillwater.
Order now and you might have a pizza at halftime.
Or a calzone. What do they call those? Papadillas?
Yes.
They've got a few options at your disposal. Stillwater will get 1st and 10 at the 16 with 30 seconds left in the first quarter. And this is the second time they have started a drive in enemy territory. The last time was after that muff punt. They needed just one play to go 17 yards. They're at the 16. Standard I again. Rosario Matias, the tailback. And now Stillwater changing the play. It's Rosario Matias. Stillwater, their running game, making a difference here. Another 7-yard pickup for Rosario Matias and Don. Young and Rosario, they've been getting those chunks. The biggest rushing play has been 14 yards, but they are moving downfield, and that could go a long way as we will flip
the field.
Yes, we will flip because that's the end of the first quarter. So Stillwater will have 2nd and short, 2nd and 3 to be precise. When we start the second quarter, we are even at 7, but Stillwater is closing in on taking the lead. Dan Fritzy, the head coach for Eastridge, and Stillwater's head coach, Bo Labor, no stranger to Stillwater football over the last several years. And one of our YouTube viewers is saying, let's go Tanner. I'm guessing Tanner Schmidt or maybe Tanner Zolnowski.
I'd go with Zolnowski because it's Alex.
Zolnowski.
Zolnowski, yeah.
You know what? Maybe he's cheering for them both.
Probably.
He is a Tanner fan.
Right. All Tanner.
Anyone whose name is Tanner.
All Tanner all the time. Sure.
So Full House is probably their favorite program. I'm kidding.
It would have to be. You're right.
I'm kidding. Well, no matter who you're rooting for or where you're watching from, we're glad to have you with us.
Stillwater putting together a nice little drive here with some running game.
They go in the standard I again. Rosario Matias lined up as the tailback once more. He's had gains of 14 and 7 on his last 2 carries. This time it's a play action. Kinsey rolling left. And the catch is made for the touchdown. Hoheisel with a Chris Carter toe tap.
Perfectly thrown where no defender could get it. Hoheisel has himself stuck right at that cone, catches it, lays down out of bounds. Touchdown Stillwater.
Kinsey with his second touchdown pass, and that was an impressive piece of work on Hoheisel's part. Tiptoeing near the corner of the end zone. Huber will line up for the extra point. And he puts it through. Stillwater leads 14-7 with 11:51 left in the second quarter.
Nice little drive there. Good job running, and then Kinsey with a great pass to Hoheisel with a great catch. Stillwater takes the lead.
3 plays, 1 minute and 7 seconds, 30 yards. Hoheisel with a 9-yard touchdown catch from Kinsey. And Don, Stillwater's running game. Again, they haven't ripped an explosive one yet, but they're doing enough. And when you look at Eastridge, they're not averaging a ton of yardage. They just had 28 in their last match with Forest Lake. If Stillwater can continue that, they could gain some separation as this game progresses.
Yeah, and so far what we're seeing is very short drives. They're not eating up a lot of clock. And we're just getting into the second quarter.
Mid-September, we've got
a goose. Geese flying across the field, heading toward the scoreboard.
If they were going to take a nest on that scoreboard, I'd be worried. But they appear to be flying along. Stillwater with a kickoff. Grant Miley fields it. He'll look for some blockers as he makes his way past the 25-yard line and lunges just beyond the 30. Eastridge will start their next series at the 31-yard line. Don, the question for Eastridge, can they get their passing game settled in? Zolnowski had that 65-yard throw, but since then, we've had 3 and outs and then that muff punt.
Yeah, three short drives. This will be a nice one. Stillwater maybe to take more than 20 seconds on their drive.
Zolnowski wants to throw. Now he's under pressure, and he's wrapped up for the sack.
I would call that a coverage sack because he was looking downfield, couldn't find anyone. Has to take the loss. Stillwater defense is locked in so far after struggling in the first game that you and I saw them play.
Cash Serrar closed in for the sack and a loss of 5. Check that, loss of 6. 2nd and 16. First sack of the night. And now this puts you in a hole as far as the math goes. Zolnowski, deep throw up the middle, incomplete. Right idea. He had Borrego open, but needed another moment for him to get in position.
Yeah, it looked maybe a smidge low, but I think he did a good job getting in the general area. Borrego's job is to try to haul that in. or adjust to it. And now Stillwater's facing a third and defending a 3rd and 16.
Eastridge is facing 3rd and 16. I know what you meant.
Yep, I said it backwards.
I forgot to tell you, we live in bizarro world. Everything's in reverse. 3rd and 16, and Zolnowski under pressure gets rid of it. Flamino able to pick up some yardage, but not enough for the first down as he is tackled at the 36.
Yeah, looking at that again, I kind of wonder if Flamino did a great job of jumping up to grab it. Almost wonder if it was meant for the second receiver. If you look at that play, he kind of jumps up to grab it and has a nice burst of speed, but 3rd and 16 was too much to overcome.
And that will send out the punting unit. And I'm going to point out something that highlights our improvisational skills in the broadcast booth. Don, we call him the ambassador, and I will tell you why in a moment.
Okay.
As Eastridge sends this punt deep, Tanner Schmidt will let it bounce. It stays in bounds. Eastridge getting a good punt out of this. Stillwater will start their next series inside the 10, so another 3 and out for Eastridge, but Stillwater with their deepest starting position of the game.
Nice job there by the defenders to let that ball, give it a second. Looked like it could have been one that rolled out of bounds. Instead, it goes down to the 6.5, 7-yard line. And with 9:47 left until half, Stillwater's going to have to drive the length of the field.
93 yards. So we don't have replay capability in our booth right now. So what Don is doing, he has our YouTube stream on his phone, and the delay is enough that we can go back and watch the
previous
play. So we'll call it live, and then about 10, 15 seconds later, we can catch it on the YouTube stream for a replay. Right now, we'll see Young on the pitch. Nowhere to go. Eastridge swallows him up, and that is a loss of 2.
Yeah, Young tried to find the outside, but there were white jerseys and gold helmets waiting.
And if Eastridge is able to get a stop here, that would be a huge benefit, because they've had all 3 and out since their opening series, when Zolnowski found Flamino for a 65-yard connection. Stillwater facing 2nd and 12, and they're going to go back a few more yards on the false start. This will put them back to technically the 2.5-yard line.
I think technically they call, or the announcer said it was an illegal procedure. He might have had 2 players move at the same time, perhaps.
So they'll call it the 2 because we don't use halves. It's half the distance. So that turns 2nd and 12 into 2nd and 15. And it's only 14-7. Kinsey finds the target after scrambling. Running right, it's Hoheisel, and that will give Stillwater some much-needed breathing room to the 13-yard line, a gain of 11.
Nice job firing that in. Taking a long 2nd down into a more manageable 3rd.
3rd and 4, and if nothing else, it gives you a little breathing room in case you have to punt this. Fake handoff, throw up the middle, incomplete. Don, it looked like Hoheisel might have been open. Kinsey looked in his direction. Instead, Stillwater gets a 3 and out, and Eastridge should stand to get good field position out of this.
Yeah, it looks like the ball went off Lanz's hands. And I like the idea of Stillwater getting more players involved, making it harder to defend. He pulls that in. He'd have a 1st down. Instead, Stillwater's forced to punt.
Lands the punter. He is just inside the end zone. Again, Eastridge should get good field position here. This punt a short one. It takes a Stillwater bounce. and then stalls near the 40. So Eastridge gets their best starting field position of the game. The question for them, can they move the ball downfield? Every drive except the first one has been 3 and out.
Yeah, good awareness by Lundgren there to notice that the ball is no longer rolling their way, runs back to get it, preventing any other loss of yardage. Eastridge has their best starting position of the game at the 41-yard line.
And we know they like to take the air, but they're going to go to the ground on first down. Not much there for Isaac Walker. He picks up a yard. And this is a drive. You want to capitalize on all of them, but I feel, Don, this is a drive where Eastridge, if they can turn this into points, this would be the most opportune time right here.
For sure. 7 minutes left in the half. They'd like to equalize this game.
Especially with a short field. Zolnowski issuing commands. 3-step drop. Has protection, finds Flamino. Looking to turn the corner and is taken out of bounds just past the 30-yard line, but good enough. That is the first down gained by Eastridge. Remember, their first series went 65 yards on that passing play.
And Flamino had that pop up to himself. So he didn't have the ball, he popped it, then was able to collect it, scamper down the field for that first down.
Eastridge going no huddle. Walker had space open up along the left side of that pile, that scrum, and he'll take it to the 23-yard line for a gain of 6.
Nice little run there. Did a good job shirking one player to gain that additional yard or 2 after first contact.
Flamino in motion now. 6.5 minutes.
Zielinski taking a good look at the defense.
Zolnowski had the pocket close quickly, finds Walker. Walker held to a 1-yard gain. Samuel Fredericks on the play there. It's 3rd and short, though, for Eastridge. Probably 4-down territory if they don't convert.
Yeah, I was thinking that if they got any more yards on the previous play, they would definitely be in 4-down territory here until they're done with their possession. Walker
up the middle. And he's still going, breaking tackles inside the 10. Tackled at the 7. The second effort by Walker gives Eastridge a first down. They'll have 1st and goal.
He ripped through the defenders and was turning, tackled pretty high, taken down hard after a very nice gain for a first down.
They had less than 30 yards on the ground against Forest Lake. They pick up a big 15 yards there. Walker again. Gets through the first tackle, number 34. Cal Nitty was the first to get to him, but Walker will have to settle for a 1-yard gain this time. 2nd and goal.
Eastridge showing a little bit of a commitment to the run here on this drive.
And coming into this game, Walker had just 74 yards rushing, 37 yards per game if you want to divide it by 2. 3.2 yards a carry. Eastridge loading up the left side. And it's going to be a screen. A screen for Walker. Touchdown. That is Grant Miley. I stand corrected. Couldn't make out the number initially, but Eastridge has a chance to tie it up nonetheless.
Really nice play. You see it flash by the Stillwater defender. Miley able to maneuver around and dive into the end zone.
And you notice, Don, they were loading up the left side, and that was purely as a decoy.
It worked.
So Zolnowski picks up his second touchdown throw of the game after Eastridge was on the struggle bus for most of the first quarter. And then a fumbled snap. Eastridge has to get rid of it. No extra point, a low snap. I think I said fumbled snap. It was just a low snap. Blew up that extra point, so Stillwater hangs on to the lead, 14-13 with 4:32 left in the second.
Ryerson did a good job of recovering on that play. Threw a nice ball down the field. He was looking to see if maybe he'd hit one of his defenders. Overthrew them all, but did a great job recovering on that unexpected play. Almost looked like it could have been by design based on how well it was executed by Ryerson, I think.
That drive going 3 minutes, 25 seconds, 41 yards, 7 plays. Miley with the 6-yard touchdown throw from Zolnowski, but a low snap on the extra point denied Eastridge a chance to tie it, so Stillwater maintains the lead. And depending on how they play this drive, Don, Stillwater does get the ball to start the second half.
Yeah, and you know, it's funny, on that earlier play, you saw Eastridge holding up a 1. It wasn't to go for 1. They needed one more player on the field. You might see them hold up a 2 later as they go for 2 to try to tie it.
A line drive kicks. Stillwater won't get a return there. They'll start their next series at the 20. As we look back on the first half, Don, thus far, you would think Stillwater would have the edge just based on ball movement. Eastridge, up until that last series, hadn't gained a first down. They go to the ground, pick up a couple of first downs on that drive. You had that 15-yard gain by Walker that helped set up the touchdown reception by Miley. Eastridge, it's been feast or famine, but here they are, 1 point away from Stillwater as the Ponies go to a screen to Rosario Matias. And he makes defenders miss and will get the first down at the 35-yard line, a gain of 15. Rosario Matias has impressed me in the 2 games we've seen him.
Oh, for sure. You see just a burst coming out of him. Does a good job catching that pass, using the blocks, going around some defenders, and then working his way to the sideline. Great run.
Injury timeout involving Eastridge. So, Don, to continue going over this first half, Eastridge has been feast or famine. 2 touchdown drives, everything else 3 and out. Stillwater, they've been able to take advantage with short fields. That seems to be the trend. The shorter the field, the more success you have.
I mean, it makes sense, right?
Right, mathematically speaking.
You have to give an edge to Eastridge because they were actually able to put together a nice drive there as they drove down the field. Stillwater needs to do the same. They're in the midst of one right now.
Stillwater, they've picked up a few first downs here and there, even on drives where they don't score. But they would love to double dip. That's what I was alluding to with how they play this. Quick throw to Hoheisel on first down, and he tried to stay in bounds. Couldn't quite do it, but it's a nice pickup of 7 yards. It will be 2nd and 3.
Yeah, Hoheisel, not easy to take down. Does a good job standing at that sideline, trying to shirk off defenders, maybe keep the clock running with 4:18 left in the half.
Stillwater going no huddle on 2nd down. Rosario Matias met up right away by number 45, Henry Burns, for a loss of 2.
Hard to put that on Rosario Matias as he had nowhere to go, and basically he got the ball and there was a defender waiting for him.
Absolutely. Didn't have the blocking he needed.
Didn't have room to make a move either.
That makes it 3rd and 5, and a key 3rd down here. If Eastridge could get a stop, they'd have plenty of time to retake the lead.
Probably one of the reasons Hoheisel tried to stay in bounds earlier. keep that clock running. Takes some of that time away from Eastridge.
Every third down is key, of course, but this one a little more so. They're going to go to the ground, and Matias fumbled it. The exchange was botched. Stillwater recovers, but they're going to have to punt here.
You can see Caden Stern from Eastridge really rooting for his team to recover that fumble.
And even though Eastridge wasn't able to do so, as we take another look, just a bad snap, bad exchange.
Yeah, I put that on the exchange. And Rosario Matias was running forward, and the ball was not quite caught up to him. Forces a 4th down punt.
And Eastridge will have 2 timeouts to work with. There's never a good time to have a miscue, but there are bad times and worse times. That might have been one of those worst times for Stillwater. As they send the punt. Signaling for the fair catch was Flamino.
Flamino did a good job of diving forward for that.
And remember, Eastridge had a muff punt earlier that helped set up a short Stillwater touchdown back in the first.
Yep.
So Eastridge will have 2:28 and 2 timeouts. Remember, the clock does stop to move the chains. We don't play with the modified college rules that took place this year. Eastridge will try to follow up their last drive with another that will put them in front. And Flamino with the catch. One-on-one coverage against Sowell Reiser. And a good start for Eastridge on a 16-yard gain.
And Flamino wide open. Doing a good job getting out of bounds as well to keep the clock from escaping. Eastridge wants to put together a drive and score.
2:20, and because he ran out of bounds, the clock stopped. Solnoski going deep again. One-on-one, the pass is...
They're moving the chains.
They're moving the chains. The pass is caught. Stillwater was saying incomplete, but Frent making a huge catch just inside the 20.
Yeah, did a good job staying in bounds. See this pass, he was just waiting down the sideline, trying to thread the needle there.
Eastridge going no huddle. That was a 33-yard gain by Frent. And those are the tough catches when you have coverage like that. One-on-one. Just defenders in general.
Tried to bracket him out of bounds, but he was able to keep his feet in.
Zolnowski again. Flushed out. Scrambles, throws right. Pass is complete to Charlie Byrne at the 11, so a gain of 8. 3 straight pass completions for Eastridge after Zolnowski had difficulty finding his targets.
And Eastridge does not look out of place in this fast-paced movement. That should be a concern for Stillwater.
It's 2nd and 2 from the 11, 1:38 to go. And now Eastridge might want to think about working some clock here.
You don't see them rushing in the moment, and the clock is ticking.
Play action, Zolnowski. The fade is incomplete.
Almost intercepted.
Reiser upset with himself. That does stop the clock with 1:20, but it's 3rd and 2, and Reiser, great coverage, couldn't make the interception.
Did a great job waiting for that ball. And Zolnowski got away with one there.
Big 3rd down. 1:20 to go. Eastridge still has 2 timeouts. It's a run to Walker. Up the middle. He's got the first and a few more. A gain of 6.
And that does a good job, Mike, of what you were talking about. That takes some of the clock
Well, now Eastridge can effectively run it out if they want, as they stay no huddle.
Right. Clock's running now, and they are not hurrying to hike it.
Staying no huddle to keep Stillwater from making any substitutions, but they're taking their time here. They know Stillwater gets the ball to start the second half.
Really good strategy being played out right now. Smart play by the Eastridge coaching staff and players.
Now they snap it. Zolnowski up the middle. Touchdown, Flamino.
And Flamino looks like one of those key players in the offense. You can just see the difference that he can make. He has good size and good speed, and he keeps finding a way to get open.
Deontay Flamino did not have a touchdown reception in the first 2 games. He has 2 tonight.
And it looks surprising. He might be someone like Rosario Matias, who's starting to make a stamp on the game for his team.
And it also marks the second straight week where Zolnowski has thrown for 3 touchdowns. The extra point this time is through. Luke Ryerson able to get a clean snap to work with there. So with 37 seconds left, Eastridge played that drive about as well as you could.
Yeah, and the student section in all white is celebrating. Really good job with clock management there, leaving 37 seconds for Stillwater. Stillwater does have 3 timeouts left before this half, but a really great drive.
The biggest play of that drive was a 33-yard gain by Fred. That was a 6-play, 68-yard drive, 1 minute, 51 seconds.
Again, not taking a lot of time off the clock, but in this case, they took almost as much as they wanted to bring this to halftime so they can go in with the lead.
Stillwater will get the ball to start the second half, but 37 seconds, even with 3 timeouts, not a lot of time to work with. Although we've seen crazy, especially in the NFL. 37 seconds is an eternity, it seems like. It will be a touchback here for the Ponies, so they'll start at the 20. So what do you do if you're Stillwater, Don? I'm guessing you go to the air. You don't want to be fooling around with the running game too much unless you know you can rip off a big one.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, right? You definitely know that you got Hoheisel as one of their better receivers. And then you have to give them, looks like they're going to kneel it out. They are content with what they have so far.
Yeah, at the 20, I could see it. There's a part of me that would want to go for it, but I'm up here, not down there. Stillwater knows they get the ball to start the second half. And Eastridge, they're not going to do any tomfoolery with the timeouts.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering if they would. There's really no point.
So that will take us to halftime, where Stillwater will regroup and try to work their way back in a game full of dramatic twists. Eastridge up 20-14 on Stillwater.
Yeah, before you go, we'd like to remind you, Papa John's of Stillwater, order that pizza, get it delivered.
And we'd like to thank them for their support of this broadcast. We'll be back in a few minutes to recap the first half. You're watching high school football on Valley Access Channels. Eastridge leads Stillwater 20-14.
Well, it looks like John's trying to make dinner again.
Got the ketchup and mustard?
Yep.
Got the relish?
Yep.
Hot dogs and buns?
Yep. Got the charcoal?
Uh-oh. We're out of charcoal.
What? Well, then what are we gonna eat?
Don't worry, I got you covered.
Hello.
Wow, that was quick.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
Hey guys, Papa John's.
Nice.
Oh, yummy. How'd you know?
I always do.
Today we're at the Stillwater Area High School for Da Vinci Fest. The middle and high school students have been working on art and science projects, so let's see what they have.
My project is called Wild Embers, based off a song we sang here in Bellefontaine. And it basically is a woman's song, a declaration of just all the history that we have as women. Nothing can stop women from progressing and getting the rights that they deserve, and finding that passion and determination is within my art piece. For my
Mackenzie Cole and assistant coach Kenna Hill. Tonight they perform to Run This Town. Our Stillwater Shebang. Stillwater Shebang. And it's time for the punt, pass, and kick. Tonight's senior is DJ Hayes.
Stillwater Area High School for Da Vinci Fest. The middle and high school students have been working on art and science projects, so let's see what they have.
My project is called Wild Embers, based off a song we sang here in Bellefontaine. And it basically is a woman's song, a declaration of just all the history that we have as women. Nothing can stop women from progressing and getting the rights that they deserve, and finding that passion and determination is within my art piece. For my digital art, what inspired me was creators like The Odd Ones Out, Jane Animation, Alex Hirsch, essentially just digital animators. I can draw water. I've never drawn water before because I've always shied away from it because it's such a delicate element. And drawing that took 3.5 hours with the sketch and all, and I'm just really excited that I got to show the depth and the tranquility and the different elements of water and the shine and everything. It's super cool.
It's a painting of outer space, what I think it would look like to me. My sister spilled her paint on her painting that she was making, and then she was going to throw it away, and I thought that was a waste of paint. So I took the painting and turned it into something different myself.
I used alcohol markers to create it. The idea behind it, I really wanted to make the person standing here feel really small and cold. A lot of lighting and photography. I really like the way shadows are cast in certain pictures I've seen, and I kind of wanted to recreate that within the piece. I learned a lot about perspective and placing people within perspective.
So my painting here is with oil painting, and I try to describe what it feels like to have negative emotions. I will say, doing this piece in the past, this was my first time with oil painting, and before this I was doing 5 different pieces and I did not like them, and this was just me having straight anger at a piece. So the smudges on the side describe people's emotions, and it also describes my emotions in this piece. My inspiration was really my face in my mirror, and all the colors you're seeing is actually what my colors were portraying in my mirror. I'm a person who likes it to look centered, and this kind of got me out of my comfort zone because it's not totally how I wanted it. I actually tried to discard it at first, but I just kept it because it's imperfect, and I actually like this with this piece.
So this painting, I wanted it to signify 2 different figures creating unity, coming together as one. And I wanted it to be my piece is called Mystic Lovers, and I wanted it to combine the difficulties in the world and the troubles in the world. But once you found your one person, everything is blocked out. The inspiration was actually based on me and my relationship and what I've gone through, and I thought that this piece described it very well on how I used my materials. I discovered that charcoal smears pretty easily, and I discovered that abstract art is one of my favorite things now once I did an abstract piece.
So this is called the Cube of Fate. Each side has a different meaning correlating to something that you might get on that roll. Reverse, chaos, time, normal, light, and insight. My dad is very much into H.P. Lovecraft and sort of that horror genre of, oh, that's very cool and that's very his aesthetic, but I also want to incorporate my aesthetic, so that colorfulness but still kind of creepy vibe if you look at it a certain way. I was watching a video and they were talking about oh, crayon's just for little kids, and I'm like, no, it's not. I used crayon and it was one of my favorite sides. You can use whatever medium you want. No one can stop you.
organization that promotes sustainability in the community. What that means in sustainability is we focus specifically on preservation, improvement of natural resources, creating healthy lifestyles in the community, and then also...
Well, it looks like John's trying to make dinner again.
Got the ketchup and mustard?
Yep.
Got the relish?
Yep.
Hot dogs and buns?
Yep. Got the charcoal?
Uh-oh. We're out of charcoal.
What? Well then, what are we gonna eat?
Don't worry, I got you covered.
Hello.
Wow, that was quick.
Yep, thank you very much.
Thank you, have a good night.
You too.
Hey guys, Papa John's.
Thanks.
Oh, yummy. How'd you know?
I always do.
About 3 minutes, Eastridge and Stillwater locked in a tight one. Both teams have traded blows throughout the years in this rivalry. Right now, Eastridge has the upper hand, 20-14 over the Stillwater Ponies. I'm Mike Pete, and he's Don Ackerman. Don, coming in, we were thinking the team that would have the stronger passing game would hold the edge, but it seems to be an unpredictable one. Stillwater, they scored both times with a short field. Eastridge has capitalized with a short field, but outside of that, they've had a hard time moving the ball downfield. What will the second half come down to?
I honestly think it could be easily turnovers. That one turnover that Stillwater got led to their points, and you've got a close game here otherwise. I think we've got a good matchup here. I'm interested to see if Eastridge continues the running game, because they had some success with that. Interesting to see Rosario Matias, see what happens with him after they had the miscommunication and the fumble that lost them the momentum. I'm looking forward to see how that all turns out.
Tanner Zolnowski with 3 touchdown passes, matching his season high. Of course, we still have half the season to go, more than half to be precise. And Nick Kinsey with 2 touchdown passes. Before we continue the second half analysis, Don, you took part in this last year, and it's something I love to share with fans. And if you're watching on YouTube, perhaps you can chime in on the YouTube channel comments. This comes from my buddy Dan Winnesota at Winnesota, author of 2 books, including History of Heartbreak and a new one about the Minnesota Fighting Saints hockey team. But he hosts Pop Culture Patio on Fridays, and anyone can play along. Tonight's subject: overrated movies, and he defined it as movies that got a lot of hype or buzz that maybe either factually or emotionally didn't resonate. Anything that comes to mind?
I mean, I can think of a movie that people will often say might be overrated or underrated. Napoleon Dynamite is one where some people love it and other people think, why are you even talking about it?
That's one I didn't quite fully understand myself. My pick would be Fargo. I like the story, but the emphasis on the accents kind of turned it into something that it wasn't. It made it hard to take seriously for me.
Yeah, I mean, Kill Bill comes to mind as well. That was kind of a Tarantino, the excessive blood gushing that he likes to throw into a movie like that. I was trying to figure out why it got so much hype. It seemed like you saw the posters everywhere. Maybe they did a great job marketing, but that movie felt to me like wasn't quite what it should be.
So if you want to play along, perhaps we'll read some entries during timeouts and the like. but nothing excessive about this game. We have seen a lot of fluid offense at times, and in the case of Eastridge, it's actually quite amusing. They've had 3 touchdown drives, but in between, all 3 and out, so not much of a middle ground. But remember, Eastridge, they were up on Forest Lake 21-7, and then a fumble return for a touchdown did them in. So I think the key for Eastridge will be making sure they don't make any of those turnovers. They had a muff punt that was recovered by Stillwater that led to one of their touchdowns. Ball security, I know it's cliche, but it's going to be really important for the outcome of this game.
Well, I think I like to reflect on what you're saying too, Mike, and build on it. Right now the score is 20-14, right? We've had the missed extra point, the missed, well, not a missed extra point, but a missed point attempt that went awry. If there is a fumble if there is a fumble recovered and returned by Stillwater, it could be a 21-20 game. So you're right. One play can definitely change the pace of what's going on in front of us. And Stillwater gets the ball first to make their stamp on this game. They want to come down and do what Eastridge did right to close out the half. Come down and have a nice drive and take the lead.
And we were discussing beforehand what to look for. Eastridge didn't have a strong running game. They got just enough of one out of Isaac Walker on that last series. That set up a 6-yard touchdown reception for Miley. One of the crossover athletes as Eastridge kicks this one short. I should say kicks it into the end zone. Couldn't see it with the glare in that window. That's what did me in. I thought it was a short kick. It was the window that threw me off.
Yeah, we didn't pull that window out. We pulled the 2 out in front of us to enjoy this. I mean, weather night is just amazing. This is a top 10 weather day as far as I'm concerned when it comes to football. Very comfortable for the fans. The players are probably a little warm. I'm really happy up here in the booth.
Well, the temperature is at 63 degrees, but it doesn't feel cold, and that's because the dew point's at 58. Here is Rosario Matias, who wants to heat things up on the ground as he looks for the edge on the right side and gets the ball past the 25-yard line. Another solid game for him. 6 to be precise. It will be 2nd and 4.
And he seems to be a key player in Stillwater's offense until Kinsey can kind of get locked in from the quarterback point of view.
Kinsey again taking over for Max Chikonjansky. Hildy taking it the other way. And no gain on the play, 3rd and 4.
Interesting idea to try to get the wide receivers involved with the sweep action.
Crucial 3rd down here. Stillwater certainly doesn't want to hand the ball back to Eastridge right away as they trail by 7. Both teams 1-1. Both coming off win. Well, Stillwater coming off a win. Kinsey in trouble, and he's taken down from behind. Number 45, Henry Burns on the sack, and Stillwater will go 3 and out on their first series of the second half.
Yeah, that sack knocks them back down basically to where they started. So we have a 4th and 10 coming in front of us.
Stillwater coming off a win last week. Woodbury, Eastridge is in Woodbury. I need a glass of water. That's what I need.
There you go, Mike.
Thank you. Eastridge coming off a 35-29 loss to Forest Lake. Stillwater played Woodbury. I've got Woodbury stuck in my head. Eastridge and Woodbury will play each other next week, coincidentally, as we get this punt and a fair catch signaled by Borrego.
That drive took just about 2 minutes off the clock, but a 3 and out is not how Stillwater wanted to start the second half.
Eastridge will take over. At the 43-yard line, and we can hear our director loud and clear now.
Yeah, you can really hear the stadium as well. He's sitting underneath it right now, and it sounds like it.
Don't worry, the bleachers will hold up.
Yes, they just make a little squeak noise.
Eastridge hoping to squeak another touchdown. Instead, it's an interception. There was pressure on Zolnowski and plenty of room to run for the Ponies. This is Jalen Crowley who runs it out of bounds. There's that turnover, Dom, we were talking about that Eastridge wanted to avoid. Stillwater will take over at the 30.
Yeah, was that Ryan Silbernagel who caught that one, number 12?
That's right, Silbernagel.
A little bit thrown behind Felino. I think he was the target. And this is a huge turnaround for Stillwater, who had that 3-and-out drive. Now they get possession with 9:50 left in this third quarter.
It was underthrown, but Don, you saw Zolnowski. He was facing some pressure and had to get rid of it prematurely, I suspect. And we've seen what both teams can do with short fields. It was Silbernagel on the interception. And Rosario Matias with a hole. It closes up quickly, but forward progress will bring him to the 25-yard line on first down. So a gain of 5.
Gain of 5 on first down is exactly what you want. That gives you a lot of options on second and third down. Wondering if Stillwater will try to do that kill play again like they did the last time they got a turnover.
They spotted at the 24, so it's a 6-yard gain. And Rosario Matias lined up as tailback. Another handoff. Waits for a seam to open up on the left side, and that patience paid off. It looked like he had nowhere to go, and then the space opens up along the left side of the pile, and he takes it 10 yards up to the 14. Sometimes, Don, when we talk about running through the holes, the gaps, in that case, he just ran alongside them.
Yeah, like you said, he was very patient, waited for the line to create some space, and then you can just see his legs moving. He's grinding.
First and 10 at the 14. Another handoff for the sophomore, and he'll get a yard out of that.
Yeah, a lot of people say, why do you do that? Why do you do that? I think you just want to build some energy and, in a way, wear down Eastridge. Keep running at them, get that running game established, set yourself up for the pass.
Keep doing it until the defense can stop you. On the turnover count, Eastridge with 2 turnovers now. Stillwater has not given up the ball yet. They hope to keep it that way, as we have Tanner Schmidt in motion. Play action. Going to the right. Pass is caught. Lots of space. And pushing his way in for the touchdown is number 22, Jackson Kramer. And Stillwater can take the lead on the PAT.
Kramer did a great job, too, of cutting back, catching the ball, and finding space. Great rollout by Kinsey. And Stillwater has a quick drive for a score.
Just a moment ago, Don, you were talking about why Stillwater is pounding it on the ground. Set up that play action, didn't it?
Sure did.
Huber for the extra point. And Stillwater takes the lead. 7:58 to go. 21-20.
The key is that turnover, that pick, and nice run.
Silbernagel got them to the 30. And in 4 plays, Stillwater goes 30 yards. 1 minute, 52 seconds. Kinsey with his 3rd touchdown pass of the game, and coincidentally, all 3 have been to different targets. Schmidt and Hoheisel caught touchdown throws earlier.
And I think that's the one thing that probably Stillwater fans are excited about. They've seen in the past that Stillwater has an array of weapons, running or passing, on receiving, even the tight end. And seeing that come to fruition today has got to get the Stillwater fans excited.
7:58 left in the 3rd quarter, and a reminder, this broadcast is brought to you in part by support from Papa John's and Stillwater. If you didn't have time to get a pizza tonight, they'll have plenty for you to order tomorrow. They don't run out of pizzas easily.
It's a good pizza weekend. The weather's great. You've got football going on.
And Vikings fans are off this weekend since they played last night. Miley fielding the kickoff. He's got some space along the right side and takes it close to the 40. They'll spot him at the 40. So a solid return by Miley, one of the crossover athletes. East Ridge, there's a few football, basketball crossovers in this squadron, and not the shortest field position they've had, but a good starting point for this drive as they try to get the lead back. Olnoski with his first interception on the last series. I'll try to avoid that here. Walker gets the handoff, trying to fight off tacklers, and that's not going to happen. Forward progress gives him 3 yards, though. It will be 2nd and 7.
Nice driving run. Looking to break tackles and move. I applaud that effort, especially with a team that had some running success in the first half and trying to figure out if they're going to run or pass as they go back into this shotgun.
I know East Ridge has plenty of receiving targets. They go to the ground again. Walker this time almost broke it for a big one, but he was stopped by Grayson Zern. He had a lot of space on the left side. If Zern didn't make that tackle, I think Walker's gone.
Yeah, that was really close to breaking it. Looks like he might have been able to cut inside for the first down, but he was scampering and pushing hard. Good tackle by Stillwater.
It's still 3rd and short, though, 3rd and 3 following the 4-yard gain. And Walker will take it up the middle, through the pile.
Just to the line, looks like.
Enough for the first. So East Ridge starting this drive with 3 straight rushing plays.
Yeah, and pretty much getting that 3.33 per time, right, to get right to 10 yards there at the 50.
Well, one of them needs to be a 3.34 to get that 10. Walker won't get 3.34 or even 1.
I'm not
minimal loss.
I'm not sure. I'm not counting on a ref to get the .01.
That's what the index card is for, right?
Exactly.
So loss of technically 1 yard, more like a half, but we don't do halves, so we'll call it 2nd and 11.
And you kind of wonder if this shotgun's going to lead to more running or if they're going to set up the pass.
Zolnoski looks to throw here. Going deep to his right. Flamino, incomplete.
Flamino was open, had to wait for the ball. The Stillwater defender took advantage of that. Came in and had a nice tackle.
Silbernagel, who made the interception on the last series. He gets the deflection here to bring up 3rd and 11 for East Ridge.
Did a good job recovering, too. Flamino was open for a moment. Had to wait for the ball. Silbernagel comes in, I guess lays down the Silbernagel, which is German for silver nail.
I'm sure he's heard that more than once.
I'm sure he has.
He's hoping to etch a golden nail in the wing column for Stillwater. 3rd and 11. Zolnoski scrambling, and the pass through Flamino's hands. Silbernagel on the coverage again, but I think Flamino dropped what could have been a first down.
Yeah, it did look like it. You saw him like shrug a little bit there. Found a way to get open. He's got good size and good speed. Just couldn't connect there. Nice scramble.
An aw shucks kind of gesture, you know what I mean?
Yes. Aw shucks, yes.
Tanner Schmidt and Riley Runk set to receive this punt. And East Ridge unable to take advantage of their field position.
And the student section for Stillwater gets the yellow Butterfingers back.
This punt gets behind and will skirt to the end zone. So Stillwater will start their next series at the 20.
Hits the nose and bounces straight into the end zone. East Ridge probably hoping to pin Stillwater down deep. Does not. It's 5:54 left in the 3rd as they take possession of the ball.
A short field last time led to a touchdown, and again, for the most part, short fields have been beneficial. In terms of probabilities, that doesn't surprise you. But remember, East Ridge went 65 yards in one play on the first series.
Yeah, had a 20-second scoring drive from the beginning of the game. They had scored 20 seconds into the game.
And since then, all the touchdowns have come on short fields. Play action on first down for the Ponies. Pass underthrown and incomplete. Hoheisel, the intended target.
Hoheisel tried to corral that, couldn't. Sets up 2nd and 10. But from an execution point of view, you got what you wanted. You had the hook, you got the player open, you're able to get the ball really close to him. Well executed.
2nd and 10. Rosario Matias is somewhere in that pile, and he picks up 3. Going over the drives, Eastridge, they've had a little more success with longer fields. There was that 65-yard play to Flamino, and then a 68-yard drive to end the second quarter. Stillwater, their 3 touchdowns, 17, 30, and 30.
One thing impressive, too, when you watch Rosario Matias run, you just see a burst that I don't think you see from any other player.
It's 3rd and 7, though, for Stillwater. Likely looking at a passing play here. Standard eye. It's a play action for Kinsey. He's flushed out, and a flag. He's taken down from behind by Borrego. Let's see what the flag is about.
Guessing it might be a hold. It is a hold. It will be declined, and they will force the punt. That is 4th and long.
So Borrego will get credit for the sack. And Stillwater going 3 and out on this series.
Making it 4th and 20 with that sack.
Coming into this game, Eastridge with just 1 sack. Borrego will add his name to that list. Stillwater, though, will have to punt for the end zone. Eastridge should get solid field position again. They'll try to take advantage of it this time around as the punt bounces at about the 46. It just stuck.
One way and then the other. 4:30 left. That drive, if you want to call it that, by Stillwater, takes a minute off the clock. Like you said earlier, with all the passing going on, you're seeing short drives that don't take up a lot of time.
Eastridge will start this series at the 46. It's been feast or famine in terms of passing. Walker grabbed from behind, and he'll be tackled for no gain. The first player to get to him looked like number 56, Bryce Rashevitz.
Probably lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage. That play looked like it was slow developing, and the Stillwater defense was ready for it.
Eastridge favoring the ground game early on in this second half.
Seems to me like you want to try to get Flamino into the game because he seems to be a game changer on the field.
He had that 65-yard catch in the first series. Zolnowski flushed out, and he just gets rid of it. Incomplete. The closest player was Kyle Frent, and it's going to be 3rd and 10 for Eastridge.
And it's such a change of pace compared to the first game we saw, Mike, where we saw very long drives, lots of time being eaten off the clock. We're seeing very short drives, not a lot of time on the clock. Both teams getting a lot of possessions, a lot of opportunities to put together what they want to do.
And I think part of that, too, is getting settled in. Remember, Stillwater had a brand new quarterback in week 1 without much experience. He's got a little more seasoning now. The focus here is 3rd and 10 for Eastridge as Zolnowski's lined up in the shotgun. Walker right alongside. Flamino lined up near the middle. Zolnowski flushed out again. He'll try to take it himself. can't do it. Taken out of bounds by number 34, Cal Nitty.
Picks
Now,
up 2 yards, and it's 4th and 8.
do you go for it? No, they'll punt. Eastridge tried to on 4th and 1, a keeper that went nowhere. At least, based on how they're lining up, they're not going to try to go for it here.
Yeah, and that 4th down lack of conversion is a big part of this 21-20 game.
Stillwater was able to turn that into a touchdown with a short field. And no trickery here, just getting rid of it, or punting it, I should say, and Stillwater signaling fair catch. They'll take over at the 19-yard line with 3:23 left. You were talking about Flamino trying to get him involved. Don, I've noticed Stillwater preventing that from happening because they don't recommend throwing across, and Flamino was along the right side. Zolnowski kept getting flushed out to the left.
Right, smart play by them to limit him. He's somebody I'd want to shut down if I'm Stillwater. They're doing a good job keeping him out of the game after him having an impact in the first half.
Flamino had a couple of touchdown catches in the first half. Stillwater hanging on to that 1-point lead. Rosario Matias, run up the gut, picks up 2 yards out of that. And that 1-point difference, remember there was a low snap. In the case of Eastridge, that cost them an extra point. 2nd and 8 for Stillwater. Schmidt in motion. Pitch to Rosario Matias. Breaks through the hole. He's got plenty of space along the left side. One man to beat. Can't clear him, but a big play for Stillwater. At the very least, it flips field position.
That's a huge play, and the kind of energy you see out of Rosario Matias, you can definitely see how that could happen.
That was a 43-yard gain, and if he wasn't pushed out of bounds, he would have taken it all the way for 6.
He's looking like the solid runner again, like we saw in week 1 for Stillwater. And a good idea to try to do a little bit of a sweep action, give him some space, allow him to maneuver, because he does well in those scenarios.
Longest play from scrimmage for the Ponies. Now they pitch right. No, it's a halfback option. Matias finds Schmidt. No flags, touchdown. How about that?
Perfectly timed after Rosario Matias breaks down the left side. He gets to go toward the right and throw a touchdown pass.
Emilio Rosario Matias, if our records are right, with his first ever touchdown pass.
And he is looking like a real weapon on the field, throwing and passing.
Huber with the extra point. It's through, and that makes it 28-20 Stillwater. Still a one-possession game, but you get a little more breathing room.
And then we've got another short drive, 55 seconds off the clock for that drive. It's the third quarter and 28-20. Stillwater extending their lead and doing basically what Forest Lake did to them last week. They had the lead. They were down in their game last week and came back on Eastridge.
Forest Lake had a big third quarter in that meeting. Part of that was the fumble return for a touchdown. In this quarter, Stillwater had an interception that led to a touchdown. And Stillwater, in this case, completing their longest drive of the game. That went 80 yards. All of their touchdowns had been from short fields, 30, 30, and 17. That one, an 80-yard run. Down the field, that is.
Yeah, great job with getting the running game established, setting up that fake.
Short kick here. Eastridge fields it. And that, I believe, is number 33, Cal Wieselman. So Eastridge will start at about the 32-yard line. Rosario Matias on back-to-back plays, runs for 43, and then throws for 35 yards in the touchdown.
Really nice play, too. Well done, well executed, perfectly timed. Eastridge defense was not ready for that. And Schmidt was wide open, scored easily.
You don't see the halfback option frequently, but when it works out just like that, it's a beauty to watch. Walker taking the screen, and he is tackled by Riley Runk for a gain of 4. Eastridge going no huddle. Again, still a one-possession game. Zolnowski, low snap, has time to throw, finds Frent for the first down. And they will spot him at the 48-yard line, a gain of 12.
One thing you're not seeing is a lot of long passes completed by Eastridge. Stillwater doing a good job of containing a throwing quarterback.
Eastridge staying no huddle. And the Raptors, again, came oh so close to beating Forest Lake. Scored a touchdown late, but couldn't get the onside. Zolnowski in trouble. Down he goes. Nobody covering number 28, John Karkula. And Zolnowski, he was a sitting duck. A 7-yard loss on the sack. And I don't know if we'll get another look at that, Don. Well, we just did right there. Karkula just ran right through his assignment.
Burst through the line. Zolnowski had nowhere to go.
I don't know if it was a missed block or Karkula just getting the jump, but he went in untouched. 2nd and 17, less than a minute in the period. Zolnowski going deep, looking for a receiver. The pass falls incomplete. Number 10, Peyton Rayfeld wants a flag. There is none.
Yeah, it looks like a really well-executed play. Rayfeld saying that the Stillwater defender went over his back prematurely. You can see it was well-executed. Pocket was nice and open. Rayfield running down the field, had a great shot at it. Stillwater celebrates the incompletion.
Tough to tell from up here whether or not PI was warranted, but it's 3rd and 17 with 41 seconds. Not a lot of plays for this down and distance, but we know Zolnowski can take it deep. Looking for protection. Now he's flushed out, going backwards. Has to get rid of it. Flamino, the nearest person there. I tell you what, Don, the head official almost got caught up in that.
Yeah, you know, that's one thing that I think threw off Zolnowski a little bit. He cut back to the middle, and there was a receiver there. He kind of had to, an umpire there. He had to work around that referee. Throws it out of bounds to not take the loss of yardage. Eastridge forced the punt.
But protection broke down in a hurry, and you know this. It doesn't matter how talented you are at quarterback. Without protection, you can't operate as efficiently as you normally would.
No, he kind of threw it up, and Falimo had to try to go and get it.
Stillwater signaling fair catch. And this could be the momentum shift that Stillwater was looking for, and it could be deja vu for Eastridge, as we'll have another play or two, I suspect, before the quarter ends.
Yeah, 1 first down on that last drive. Eastridge is going to have to put together more than that to take this game. 24 seconds left in this quarter. Stillwater probably looking to finish out this quarter, drive down the field, extend the lead to 35-20, and at that point they may have taken this game away from Eastridge, who had a 20-14 lead at halftime.
Rosario Matias runs into the pile for no gain.
And I'm gonna guess they're gonna run the clock out. And Stillwater outscores Eastridge 14-0 in that quarter to take their lead.
Not unlike what happened a week ago when Eastridge took on Forest Lake. So one more quarter to play. Stillwater up 28-20 as they look to go to 2-1. One more reminder, we want to thank Papa John's Pizza in Stillwater for their support of our live coverage on Valley Access channels locally and online. Stillwater's next home game will be against Forest Lake. That should be a doozy. Forest Lake, one of the top programs in the state. Don and I will be with you for that one, September 29th, our next football broadcast, 2 weeks from tonight.
Yeah, and that gives Stillwater 2 more weeks to kind of put it together. We were talking about Kinsey being a young quarterback, put into a system that has a lot of weapons. Tonight you're seeing those weapons put to use. And that game could be a lot different than what we might have expected after week 1 when Stillwater just came out, had a really flat home opener.
Stillwater will get Mounds View on the road next week. And as we mentioned, Eastridge will take on the crosstown rival Woodbury next week at home. Those Eastridge-Woodbury games always fun to see. But right now, we start the fourth quarter. Play action. And the pass, incomplete. Good coverage there by Eastridge. That will make it 3rd and 10. Schmidt, the intended receiver.
Yeah, Schmidt had a chance to catch that. It was hit in the back pretty square by the Eastridge defender. And now are they calling a timeout here?
There was an injury timeout. Eastridge player is down.
Oh, I didn't see him, sorry. I was so focused on the Stillwater team, I didn't see the Eastridge player down on the ground. Looks like maybe a cramp.
And we talk about this a lot during warm weather games. Temperature right now, 61 degrees, but again, it doesn't feel that cold because of the dew point. Dew point at 58, not humid, but certainly not what we're accustomed to around mid-September.
Yeah, a little tad chilly, but very comfortable.
And usually the dew point is a few ticks lower. It feels a little drier, but when you have the dew point as it is, the temperature can't go lower than that. Cramping can still crop up even when the weather isn't warm, humid. Hydration is always key. And we certainly hope it is a cramp. They are still working on that player's leg.
There's a good shot of the Stillwater crowd watching this game. Student section pretty full. Eastridge has done a great job bringing their fans to this game. The student section, that 1/4 of it is completely filled.
We were discussing this earlier as the Eastridge player, that is number 7, Hudson Grainer, who looks to be all right. We've discussed this before. There is quite a rivalry between these two. I was on hand for a road game years ago, a game that Eastridge won in a close battle. These two played each other last year. It was the home opener for Stillwater, and the Ponies took it to Eastridge 45-17. They're hoping to take it to them one more time and go to 2-1. Kinsey going deep. Hildy the closest to it, but incomplete, and Stillwater will be forced to punt.
You know, I know he just aired it out there, but I like to see that kind of play because there were no defenders past that. You can find yourself a way to connect. Hildy can take that ball and run down the field. That's the kind of play that I kind of expect Eastridge to try with Flamino, who has good speed. If they can find him in an open space like Stillwater just tried to find with Hildy, that could lead to a score for Eastridge. And again, I think we have another short timed drive in this game as Stillwater's punting.
When you have two pass-heavy offenses That can happen. Stillwater gets this punt off, and Flamino will try to return it. That's not going to happen.
But again, short field as Eastridge starts on Stillwater's side. Marking that the 47.
They are spotting him at the 47, and 11:40 to go. Again, a touchdown and a 2-point conversion would tie it up. And as I noted before, these two teams have traded paint, to use a NASCAR term, but Stillwater, they've won the last 3 meetings. 2019 was the last year Eastridge won. Of course, year to year, things change, graduations, transfers, new players coming in, etc. So make what you will of past results, but Stillwater, they've held the upper hand in this rivalry for some time. Walker won't go anywhere on that first down run. He's tackled for no gain.
Yeah, they're really featuring Walker with their running game in the second half. Hasn't connected. Interesting to see the lack of passing by Eastridge. As you were noting earlier, they were a pass-happy team in the first 2 games.
225 yards for Zolnowski last week. 225, 3 touchdowns. They've been going to the ground a lot more in the second half. I know you want them to get Flamino more involved. Zolnowski, another interception. I'm not sure what happened there, but the route broke down. And John Karkula, who had a sack earlier, picks up an interception here.
Karkula is just sitting in the spot just in front of where Zolnowski's looking to go. He didn't really have to do like an insane tall leap. He jumps up high, is able to grab the ball, takes it back another 15, 20 yards on his own. Really sets up Stillwater with the short field. Now they're on their side of the 45 and coming out on offense.
And watching that play again, Don, it looked like the route broke down. What I didn't see initially in the replay on our live stream, his target was covered.
Yes.
There was another Stillwater player on him, and Karkula was wide open to work his magic. And now Stillwater will try to work some magic here and ice this game. They'll pick up 6.
Yeah, and if Zolnowski was keyed in on his receiver, he might not have seen Karkula sitting there in the flat. Karkula jumps up and snags it, had made a sack earlier, now makes a great play for the interception. The defense is having a huge impact in this Stillwater lead.
The 3rd turnover on Eastridge. What do we say about turnovers, Don? They can haunt.
They can haunt you.
They've haunted our professional team over the first couple of weeks.
I wouldn't call them ours.
The local team,
there
as
you
Matthias picks up another yard on that carry. When I said our, I mean our closest team by geography. I know your team is a few miles south.
Yeah,
and they're coming off. Well, they're coming off that big win over New York.
The
Giants. I forgot. They're 2 New York teams.
That's right.
Well, one of your teams is down south. The other one is out west.
Yeah, I grew up in a divorced family, so I have 2 football teams. Yes, it's a problem.
Well, Stillwater has 3rd and 3. Play action. Kinsey underthrows, but he had pressure from behind.
But we do have a flag on the play afterwards. We're seeing some extracurricular activity. This extra activity, if this goes, and you can see Kinsey here, going over to his teammate, Mr. Kramer, who was the target for that play, apologizing for underthrowing, really frustrated by that.
And they are signaling offsetting unsportsmanlike conduct penalties, so it will be 4th and 3. The penalties will have no effect. If you're Stillwater, do you go for it? Do you punt?
It's a great question. You're in an interesting location, that's for sure. Question is, do you think you can pick up 4 yards?
Well, you just need 3.
Yeah, you always want to get a little bit extra.
No, I see what you mean. That 3.33 you were talking about, that's where it would come into play.
You want the 3.33, exactly. You got it, Mike.
Well, they're lining up for it. Kinsey in the shotgun, and they're going to go for it here on 4th. Kinsey throws, pass, caught. It's Hoheisel and Stillwater with a fresh set of downs.
Hoheisel, just one of those key receivers. If you can connect with him, ball's a little bit behind him. He reaches back and grabs it, drops down for the first down. Nice play. 9:11 left in this game, and Stillwater looking to extend that 28-20 lead.
They needed 3. Hoheisel got them 6. And right, this can help work some clock.
And getting that first down is key, right? Trying to put together some momentum. Like you said, you want to finish this game. You want to get this score and Eastridge's hopes, as they're just one score away.
Another play action. Hoheisel going deep to Schmidt. Had him, but too strong on the throw. Schmidt had a step on his defender. And if that throw were just a little softer, Stillwater, they'd be up by 2 possessions right there.
Yeah, the good news is, I think, if you're someone who's looking to see Kinsey's development, we're seeing a lot more of the plays this week, a lot more than we saw in week 1, where he's starting to maybe outpace the receivers by a little bit, but if he can dial that in with more practice and getting to know his teammates a little better, that can be a connection, and then this game could be out of reach for Eastridge.
It's only 2nd down, though. This drive not over yet. Rosario Matias on the pitch. Cut off on the left side. Now he reverses direction. Stays on his feet, and he's going to go all the way. Rosario Matias shifting directions and shifting his way to the end zone.
"33-yard scamper, and that is where you see Rosario Matias's impact on this game. You can see his speed. You can see he just has a different level that other players don't have.
Watching it again, he was cut off. I thought he wasn't going to go there, but there was a holding call. I didn't see the flag initially, so take that away. Did not see the flag.
I did not see the yellow flag come out either.
There was a flag, a holding call. Well, you know what? We got to practice one in.
We did.
But unfortunately, no touchdown, and it's going to be 2nd and long following the holding penalty.
But you can see how exciting of a runner he is, and you can see why Stillwater's getting him into this game and getting him into the mix. He was a ray of light in the late first half of that first game, and you can see why tonight.
Stillwater calling a timeout. And we will be temporarily frozen in time with 8 minutes and 29 seconds left in the 4th quarter. 2nd and 17 for the Ponies. Again, the holding call, we didn't see it.
I mean, there was a large collection of players. They were going to go to the left. Rosario Matias ran into that wall, realized that he might need to go the other direction. He turns himself around, heads down the field. Unfortunately, he can't do much about the hold. All they can do is run the ball.
And that's the point I was going to make. When he reverses directions, again, great second effort by him to adjust on the fly, but the longer a play develops like that, you see this sometimes too with passing plays that take a long time to develop. Sometimes your blockers, your linemen get caught up into something they know they shouldn't do, but when you have to change direction like that, sometimes it happens.
Yeah, I think in our chat, Austin said that was a terrible block. I'm assuming he's talking about that last call. Something I think maybe there's a learning moment in there for the team, because I feel like you're going to see Rosario Matias make that kind of move again over and over. So try not to have a terrible block and do a solid job keeping defenders right. Keep the game alive, keep the play alive, because you have number 26 running, and he is a power runner that has speed.
8:29 left. Stillwater was 2nd and 17 following the holding penalty. Not necessarily a killer. They're up 28-20, but that did cost them a chance, at least for the moment, to go up by 2 possessions, and Stillwater is going to in all likelihood, go backwards even more. Yes. False start.
Yeah, the illegal procedure.
So they go from 2nd and 17 to 2nd and 22, back at the 44.
Yeah, and in a way you see the game going from we can almost lock this down to now we've got to be careful here. We do not want to have a turnover, give a short field to our opponent that looks to come back and tie this game.
Rosario Matias on the carry. He'll try to pick up some yardage. And an open field tackle by Jalen Crowley, stopping Rosario Matias from turning it into a big gain. They'll have to settle for 4 yards, and it's going to be 3rd and Hudson from here.
Oh, funny. Yeah, it's definitely a long 3rd down.
Not quite 3rd and River Falls.
Right. And number 26 had some space to move, but good tackle by the East Ridge defender.
That was Crowley with the open field tackle. 3rd and 18. Kinsey thought about it. And that was more or less a coverage tackle as he tried to go forward. So Stillwater had a touchdown called back by a hold, and now they've got 4th and long. And here comes the punting unit. If there was a time for a break on the East Ridge side, they got one.
Yeah, and they're able to take almost 4 minutes off the clock. I guess you can call that a victory when you're trying to seal this win, but they sure were close if that block had not happened.
Without the hold, Stillwater may be up by 2 possessions here instead. Eastridge still has a chance. Flamino signaling fair catch and diving for it. That always makes you squirm, doesn't it, when you're up here?
It does. I think that shows you what kind of player Flamino is. Not afraid to put his head in there and to sacrifice his body for the game.
Well, I'm squirming because, remember, there was that muff punt that Stillwater later turned into a touchdown. When you make a play like that, you better make sure you can field it.
He's willing to dive for it. You hope he doesn't die for it.
We don't want that. Eastridge, though, they'll have to start at the 13. And remember, they're down by 8, so they need a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. They have to go 87 yards on this series. And that pass nearly picked off. Brent, the intended receiver, number 28, Karkula, who had an interception on the last series, nearly got pick number 2.
Yeah, good job by Karkula getting into the play. Not a great job by Zolnowski to lead his receiver, get him down the field.
It does tell me that Stillwater's secondary, they're locking in. And Eastridge will have to be careful as they try one last gasp, perhaps. Now Zonowski's in trouble. Blocked down.
Just outside the end zone.
Cal Nitty drops him for the sack.
Fans are probably thinking to themselves, a safety would make it a 30-20 game. That's interesting. I guess he wasn't as close. Well, no, he's close. Okay, they're measuring it out.
They spot him at the 4, 9-yard loss.
Yeah, I did. I thought it was a little bit closer.
You brought up the prospect of a safety, and I'm thinking to myself, please don't tell me folks are taking a spread on this game.
Nice.
Not at this level. We don't talk bad beats in high school football. Zolnowski in trouble again, finds Walker, and Stillwater, excellent defense there. Their coverage almost perfect, and Eastridge, they're going to have to punt from their own end zone.
Yeah, gain of 3 is not good enough. It's such an interesting You just think about how this game started earlier, right? You had Eastridge with that 65-yard scoring touchdown right out 20 seconds into the game, and you thought, oh boy, this is going to be a barn burner. And right now you have a lot of motion going on by the Eastridge kicker.
Yes, a little bit of confusion there. The punter was trying to get his teammates set. Boots it. It's a deep one. Should be returnable. Riley Runk will try to do just that. And they'll take it to the 45, but that's okay if you're Stillwater. More importantly, 4:51 to go. Eastridge has all 3 timeouts. So
really nice tackle by Charlie Green, I want to add on that play.
And to finish up my observation, a first down would help. I'd say you need 2 first downs at this point to seal it.
4:51 left in the game. That 8-point lead is big.
Well, it's not the margin that matters right now.
It's the clock.
It's the clock and Stillwater. Can they hang on to the ball? Can they move the chains? Rosario Matias into the pile for a gain of 3.
And Rosario Matias is a great tool in this kind of game where you're looking for someone to maybe find some space, run hard, heat that clock up, just keep that 3.33 going. Because you can go for it on 4th and 1.
Theoretically, but we'll see. Against Stillwater, they want to get some first downs. They go up the gut. Looks like it was Kramer on the carry there. Yes, the fullback.
Yep.
He gets another 3, so
they're on pace.
They're on pace. But this is going to be a paramount 3rd down for Stillwater. If you're close, you may go for it, but if you're stopped, Eastridge may have one more opportunity.
And the clock is ticking.
Kinsey under center. It's Rosario Matias, and no gain. Eastridge on top of that play.
Leaves
now what do you do?
Dangerous 4th and 4. Looks like they're at least going to think about it, that we've got 3:10 and ticking down. They might be willing to let the clock expire or call a timeout just before
clock.
it. Yep, they have 2.
Or you know what? It's close enough. Line up and see if you can draw Eastridge offside.
There's a lot of standing around going on right now.
Looks like they're just going to run the clock all the way down and then call timeout.
That's my expectation.
I'm a little surprised. I thought, again, it's 4th and 4. If this were me, I would at least line up, create the impression that you're going to go for it, and try to draw Eastridge offside.
Yeah,
and if it doesn't work, you can still take the timeout.
You know, it's an interesting observation, too. I wonder to myself, why does Eastridge, with 3 timeouts, let them run off that much time?
Well, Eastridge is trying to hang on to theirs in case they need them.
Yeah, but it doesn't do you any good if you get the ball back with 2 minutes left.
Timing-wise, no, but here's the thing. If Eastridge were to call one and then Stillwater converts, so now you have one less opportunity to stop the clock.
Yeah, but they called the timeout anyway, so nothing changed there.
Stillwater does take a timeout, and you now have a front row seat to our coaching talk.
Yes, and why we are or are not coaches.
In my case, why I am not a coach.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely not a coach, but I always wonder to myself, if you're Eastridge, why do you let Stillwater do exactly what they want to do when you have 3 timeouts, and you can use one of them if you want? And we have one of the Stillwater coaches losing his mind, taking his hat off, and I don't know what he saw, but he is definitely not happy.
That's interesting. And again, if I'm Stillwater, I would have lined up, try to get Eastridge, maybe get them to jump.
Sure.
The cadence, and then you get the 5 yards anyway, but they're going to punt, or at least line up that way. Eastridge, they're not sending anybody back to return. So this is going to be a huge one. If Stillwater, oh, now Miley goes back.
Miley has good speed too.
Stillwater will not take a chance. They will trust their defense. And the ball will bounce out of bounds. And I know there's plenty of time left, 2:25 and all 3 timeouts, but given the flow of this game, Don, I'd say that's an understandable decision by Stillwater. The defense, they've been locked in the last few drives, an interception, a 3-and-out on the last series. Your defense has proven more than once they can get the job done. Give them the reins and see what they can do.
And they're forcing an 83-yard drive here. I fully expect Eastridge to try to get Flamino into some space. Stillwater needs to defend that and be ready.
1st and 10 at the 16. Eastridge, they got to go 84 yards and get a 2-point conversion to stay in the game.
We have the referees getting into position, and they blew the whistle.
Eastridge, they've struggled to move the ball the last couple of series. An interception. Zolnowski with protection. Now he moves to his left. He's got to get rid of it. Throws across, and the pass is caught by Frent. That will stop the clock to move the chains.
Moves the ball to the 35.
A gain of 19 out of nowhere. I thought that play was stuffed, done, but Eastridge pulls a magic trick out of their hat. The clock now ticks, 2 minutes to go. 1st and 10. Zolnowski on the go. Almost, but a half step behind. Frank couldn't make that catch, and that will stop the clock with 1:54.
Well, French really did a great job boxing out with his body, trying to catch that over the shoulder. If he's able to collect that, you have 2 long completions, and Eastridge is a business. That does stop the clock at 1:54, but they've had 2 well-executed plays. Stillwater defense better watch out.
If nothing else, Fred may have auditioned himself for the basketball team this winter with that box out of his. But they've got to move the ball downfield. Now it's Flamino who takes the short screen. Can't get out of bounds though, so that will keep the clock moving. It will be 3rd and 5. And Eastridge, they got to go. They have all 3 timeouts. They won't use them right now.
This clock's still ticking.
1:30. Zolnowski, another screen. Incomplete, but Stillwater had that play read all the way. Great coverage. And Eastridge now facing 4th down.
They are looking to get Flamino the ball, but I think they got to figure out a way to get him the ball where he can actually make some action instead of him trying to catch the ball with defenders coming down upon him.
Riley Runk on the coverage. If you go for it, you got to get past the 45.
Eastridge calls their first timeout with 1:23 left in the game.
That's interesting, Don. I'm not sure I would have used it here because you almost have to go for it now.
I mean, I think you kind of do, to be honest. You're down by 8. You're in 4-down territory.
You have to go for it now. If you don't use the timeout, you could have punted and then maybe get another stop and have one more chance. Now, this is it. The game pretty much comes down to this play.
I'm feeling, yeah, you're right. It is interesting to see here. I wonder if they're scripting the next couple plays here. If they get the first down, do they have the next one lined up so they can hurry up and execute? But yeah, this is a big play. If Stillwater defense can hold, Stillwater defense is the reason this game is theirs for the win.
Well, plenty of reasons, but the defense doing their part.
Leading the way. Let's put it that way.
Eastridge has not scored in the second half. But with that timeout, again, they have to go for it here. You can't punt now. 4th and 5. The game could be decided right here. Zolnowski. Plenty of time, not for long. Karkula comes up from behind. What a performance by Karkula. You were discussing leading the way. Karkula certainly leading the way on defense in this half. The interception and 2 big sacks in this quarter.
And, you know, credit Karkula for the sack, but also credit the Stillwater defense. No one was open. Zolnowski had lots of time to look around. He could not find anyone open, and he ends up going to the artificial turf, and Stillwater looks to lock this game down. 2 timeouts left for East Ridge. You'll probably see the victory formation. Stillwater's done a great job turning this game around, down 14-20 at half. Winning.
They have to run a couple of plays, though, since Eastridge can stop the clock 2 more times.
Correct.
Rosario Matias.
There's timeout number 1.
To the 29-yard line. And barring something weird done, it's going to be deja vu for Eastridge. Another game where they led at halftime and couldn't close out. Stillwater, that defense of theirs, locking down in the second half and going over the drives. Eastridge did have 3 first downs, but as I'm looking at this, Don, they didn't even get close to the red zone.
No, and you've seen the short field too, right? You haven't seen any long drives. Certainly nobody's really taken out a lot of time in their game clock. Stillwater looking to kill 1 minute and 11 seconds. I expect to see a lot of number 26. Maybe we'll see another run by Kramer as well, as they're looking to close out this game.
John Karkula, the 6'2", 185-pound junior. He would get my nod for player of the game. I know Kinsey looked pretty sharp out there with 3 touchdowns, and perhaps we saw another step in the progression of Emilio Rosario Matias.
Yes.
With that 35-yard halfback option to follow up a 43-yard run of his own.
Yeah, you might have your defensive and offensive player of the games listed right there.
Well, there's Rosario Matias. He picks up another yard. Eastridge will call another timeout, and that will be their last. So Stillwater could run their next play to about 20 seconds. This reminds me of a Tartan Matamidi game I called years ago where Tartan had it effectively locked up, but we had an elongated closing because of the timeout situation.
Sure.
So a reminder that we're back here in 2 weeks for Stillwater and Forest Lake, and if you thought this game was exciting and dramatic, that game, I can't wait. The anticipation is already palpable, and we're 2 weeks out.
I mean, there was a great tailgating scene before this game. We had Croyview Orthodontics outside, Papa John's Pizza sponsoring. Very exciting action here in Stillwater, and in 2 weeks I expect to see more.
One of the viewers is asking us, what is our favorite thing to do in our free time? Do we have enough time to answer that?
Watch sports.
Watch sports. Watch sports, and in my case, recut videos to make them more silly and whimsical. And I also have a photographic memory of fonts.
Yeah, Mike's really good about that. He keeps score bugs in his mind.
I do. Stillwater has a win in mind. They'll try to wrap it up here on 3rd down. Rosario Matias doing his best to follow his blockers, but he cannot cross. He's 3 yards short, but Stillwater can run this down to a little less than 20 seconds before they call a timeout.
That kind of sweep play allowed them to eat up a little bit more clock, so well done on that end. And I think that if you can run the clock down to 20 seconds on your opponent, you're having a pretty good night.
It's a little too much time to run around. This happened last year. I did a Blaine White Bear Lake game where there was about 5 seconds left and it's on 4th down. The quarterback just ran around the rosy basically, yes, and then threw it away.
Sure.
I don't know if you can get away with that here. 19.9. Kinsey would have to do a lot of scrambling, Donovan McNabb level like, I think, to pull that off. But it is a possibility.
Maybe Barry Sanders-esque if you want to go back further with a guy that could eat up a lot of clock and go nowhere. Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders could run around for 20 yards and go 0 forward.
Okay, that's what you meant.
Yes.
I thought you were talking about Detroit's playoff.
No.
Success.
No.
Bo Jackson comes to mind. Well, he could run around too if you want to go back around the same time, actually.
Sure. Yeah. Or like in basketball, when you throw the basketball straight up in the air and let the clock run out. There's not enough time for that kind of maneuver here. Stillwater's going to key
too much time for that maneuver.
Yeah, I think they got to really keep an eye on Flamino. He's a very dangerous player.
That was Mike who asked us the question about free time, by the way. So shout out to Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Maybe has plenty of free time himself.
He can throw in the chat what he likes to do.
Well, Stillwater has 19.9 seconds. They are going to line up and try to get the first down here. That won't happen. As the
really nice tackle by Vesselman.
Yep, Vesselman
came in with some good speed
on Young, and Eastridge not done yet. I know some folks have filed for the exits already, but 17 seconds.
Well, with the way this defense is played in the second half, this would be a very disappointing situation if Eastridge is able to pull off a miracle. You can see the players are talking.
Hey, a few years ago, we had a miracle over in Minneapolis.
Yes, Silvernagel's in the back asking where I should be located. Basically like baseball, they're talking about positioning.
If there's a time for prevent, this is it.
And Zolnowski's a quarterback, so I would be wary of him.
Zolnowski, remember, did get that 65-yard throw to Flamino. He goes up the middle to Frent. The catch is made. That will stop the clock momentarily, but Eastridge, they got to hurry and spike it.
The question is, have they practiced this enough? Are they ready to get going? Looks like they're going to get one more playoff as the clock starts.
They do spike it.
Okay. I like that idea.
Well, that's what I was anticipating from the start, because you know you get the clock stoppage. Eastridge out of timeouts, 7.5. Likely the last play from scrimmage, unless you do a quick slant, quick screen, and run out of bounds.
Both teams out of timeouts. 7.5 seconds left in this game.
Zolnowski
looking downfield.
Plenty of time. Flings it. Frent.
Zeros on the clock.
Incomplete. He was short anyway by about 10 yards, and Stillwater hangs on for a 28-20 win. They keep Eastridge scoreless in the second half. What a finish, Don, and what a win for the Ponies.
Yeah, a great come from behind win. They were down 20-14 at half, 14-20 at half if you want to orient it right. And their defense did a great job limiting the pass-friendly Eastridge team, who switched to a run game, surprisingly, but they weren't able to run over the Stillwater defense. Ponies take a big win at home, setting up their next home game, which is against Forest Lake.
They have Mounds View next week to get through first. Don and I will be back to wrap it up. You're watching high school football on Valley Access Channel. Stillwater beats Eastridge 28-20.
Well, it looks like John's trying to make dinner again.
Got the ketchup and mustard?
Yep.
Yes.
Got the relish?
Yep.
Hot dogs and buns?
Yep.
Sure.
Got the charcoal.
All right.
Uh-oh.
Okay, I was wondering if
we're out of charcoal.
Heard our response. That was clever, Don, actually, going the YouTube route.
Eat? Don't worry. I got you.
To work as a replay. So we might need that phone one more time, Don, just so we can frame ourselves.
Wow, that was quick.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good night.
For that.
Hey guys, Papa John's.
Thanks.
Oh, yummy. How'd you know?
I always do.
Stillwater goes to 2-1 with a 28-20 win over Eastridge. And Don, we were talking about players of the game. We listed our candidates. Rosario Matias on the ground, and that 35-yard halfback option for his first passing touchdown of his varsity career.
Yep.
Karkula and his defensive tenacity. I would like to file another candidate if there's time. Your phone.
My phone.
Your phone. We've been using the phone throughout this game. In fact, we're still using it right now to do a lot of work for us here. Some of our equipment decided to not cooperate with us, so Don's phone has been quite helpful. But all joking aside, Don, Stillwater, they came through in the second half, locked things down defensively, and got enough out of their offense to take another win and pick up their fourth straight over Eastridge going back to 2020.
Yeah, really good defensive group effort by Stillwater. You saw Karkula make big plays, but he was also supported by Silvernago, had the big interception, and then also his other defenders, they were not allowing Eastridge players to get open. And on offense, is this the progression of Kinsey? Are we starting to see him starting to get better? Solid second half. I don't remember any turnovers, so I think that's a big key in this win.
No turnovers for Stillwater, and don't forget Kinsey had 3 touchdown passes to go with all of that. Don, can I ask you to bring your phone for the next home game, just in case?
Let's do it. Let's keep it charged. We had one of the football players for asking us if we could help him charge his phone. So we weren't able to do that, but maybe next time.
Maybe next time. And we hope to see you next time, 2 weeks from tonight, when Stillwater takes on Forest Lake. That should be a lot of fun. I can't wait to see what unfolds in that matchup. But until then, for Don Ackerman and the rest of our crew, this is Mike Beaton reminding you to help control the pet population. Have your pets spayed or neutered. Goodbye, everybody.
Well, it looks like John's trying to make dinner again.
All right, we clear?
Got the ketchup and mustard?
Yep.
Got the relish?
Yep.
Hot dogs and buns?
Yep. Got the charcoal?
Uh-oh. We're out of charcoal.
What? Well then, what are we gonna eat?
Don't worry, I got you covered.
Hello.
Wow, that was quick.
Yep, thank you very much.
Thank you, have a good night.
You too.
Hey guys, Papa John's.
Nice.
Oh, yummy. How'd you know?
I always do.